Alright everybody, in this video we're going to be going over some quick tips in Jupyter Notebooks. So Jupyter Notebooks, for those who don't know, are interactive Python windows where you can run or execute code and be able to see the results rather instantly. They also allow you to be able to just run files in cells, so you don't have to run the entire program all over again just to change one variable. You can run just that little part of your program. One neat thing that I learned getting started was, instead of going to your root directory when you open up command prompt for the first time, or on Linux when you just open up the terminal, what I was doing before is typing in Jupyter Notebook straight here and navigating to the folder. One thing that's really nice is if you change directory into the folder in which your files are located, if you change directory and then run Jupyter Notebook from there, you just have instant access to whatever files you have open here. See? So it basically, when you run Jupyter Notebook from the folder, you can access all your project files from there. This is also pretty darn important when you do work on a flash drive. Jupyter Notebooks won't let you change directory up into a flash drive by default. You have to change directory into the flash drive folder. So let's open up one of these. Okay, so a very beginner thing for working with Jupyter, to run a specific part of your code, it's ShiftEnter. ShiftEnter. Just to run each cell. And let's say we change the variable to, let's change this 5. Changes the graph. You run, I didn't have to re-import everything just to change one variable. Oops. So another really cool thing about it is, let's say we have a function here. We don't quite know all the different parameters that can go to it. You could Google it, or you could press Shift-Tab, click the little plus icon, and it will give you the parameters that you can put in, even a docstring. So if the developers put in a docstring. Now in Visual Studio Code, what you can do with this is, if you hover over it in Visual Studio Code, you can right-click and say Go to Definition, and you, depending on the library you're using, you can actually check and see what the code is. Another cool thing that I do with it is, when I want to embed it in a website, what I will do is I'll do File and then Download as HTML. From there I'll gut out the head and like the heading tags and some of the body tags and maybe some of the imports or the script tags, and just embed it straight into a website based on the HTML. That is very cool. There's all different types of ways you can insert cells. So let's say you wanted to, this part of your program looks good, but you realized you want to have some sort of other variables here. You can insert a cell, insert a cell. You can move a cell up, or in that case it's down. You can cut it, you can copy, all these sorts of things. One of the better ways to shut down a Jupyter kernel is to log out. It's a lot cleaner, and I think you could potentially break it if you just do what I do normally and just hit Control-C. If you hit Control-C, it'll interrupt the server. It's another cool thing. Let's say you have a long-running Python script. For example, I do some machine learning projects, and I realize, oh, I screwed up, wrong variable. I didn't do the data right. I just end up having to interrupt the kernel and totally stop it. Or if you're doing some Python programming and you realize that you're using a ton of memory and it's like a recursive for loop or something, you can just interrupt the kernel and stop it. From there, you can just restart the kernel and it'll be all good. That's about it. Oh, another cool thing. If you're doing diagrams in your code and you want to explain things to people, they have different types of cells you can have. So let's create a new one. And let's create a markdown one. If you want to do a math equation, I believe it's that, and then x. I had to look up Mathjax right now. Alright, I googled a quick example. Here is some Mathjax code. If you run it, it'll print out the really pretty formula for a math equation. Mathjax is a whole topic on its own that I could cover. When you're doing demonstrations and you plan on showing your code to others, this is very important. For example, if you just do heading, subhead, and then you want to have a bullet. Pretty cool. It makes it so your Python notebooks are more than just code. They're a way to demonstrate what you're doing. Another neat thing is, let's say we want to insert a picture into our Jupyter notebook. We could edit, copy. I can't believe I had that photo still up, making another video. Anyways, just copy it and press Control V, Shift Enter, and you can embed a picture in your Jupyter notebook. Pretty cool. When you go ahead and save it in file export, file save, download as HTML, what it'll actually do is it'll base64 encode your image so that when you actually go to display it on a web page, there's no external static files. Makes it really nice to package. If you plan on uploading it to a WordPress site like I do, it might be a little taxing on the database if you have a ton of these photos in there, but anyways. So those are some of the cool things that I found with Jupyter Notebooks. If you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm on GitHub. I regularly go to the C# community Gitter, where we talk about C# and machine learning type subjects. So thank you for watching.